Hello, welcome to another episode of the Winning with Shopify podcast with me, your host, Nick Truman, agency owner, podcast host, and general confused person like the rest of us. I'm joking, I'm not confused. I have very sarcastic humor and it gets lost on most people, so apologies. But welcome to the show. If it's your first time tuning in, hit subscribe. Hope you enjoy the show. Leave us a review on whatever channel you're on. And I highly recommend checking out our summit on our website. It'll be launching on the 1st of September, which I know seems like miles away, years away at the moment. It's still, 8 months, just over 8 months away, but it's going to be absolutely amazing. We are currently discussing with lots of sponsors about who's going to sponsor what content we're going to put up there, but you guys can sign up nice and early and be the first to hear about updates coming along. We're not going to bore you with updates until things are actually available to happen, but you can also go and join our newsletter, and we'll obviously be letting everybody on the newsletter know what is going on. But it's super exciting. We're spending quite a lot of money on it, and so are our sponsors. So please come get involved, and we hope you guys enjoy. I've just realized there is something in the way of the camera. There we go. This is what happens when I record episodes on my own, completely unsupported by anybody else. Things start to go wrong. But anyway, we're going to talk about a few things, as we always do on a Tuesday. Tea of choice this week. I'm still on water. I've drunk loads of tea today, but I'm having a bit of a health push this year, like most of us. I'm going to see if it lasts. So far, we're nearly in Feb. Anyway, we're going to talk about a few things. We've got quote and fact of the week. We've actually got two and something we think you guys should focus on. We've got some big topics to talk about. A couple of our sponsors have sent a few bits and pieces in as well. And then we're going to play Quivia at the end. And no doubt, we're going to go on some tangents. My estimate, based on my AI that put a couple of these notes together for me, I asked it to shuffle some of the notes for me and give me some more stats on them. The AI reckons it's going to take 4 minutes, and I'm already over 1.5 minutes in, and I haven't started. So we'll see how long this takes. Anyway, email. You guys need to be focusing on email. We could have done this to Quivia, but this is an amazing stat that Daisy's pulled together. The number of global email users reached 4.6 billion in 2025. 4.6 billion people are using email on a regular basis. These stats are from HubSpot, by the way. It's projected that by 2028, it's going to be 4.9 billion. And that's also from Statista. What a horrible word to try and pronounce, Statista. So 4.9 billion people on the planet using email. So email needs to be an important channel. And actually, and here we go, tangent number 1 or 3, possibly the third tangent so far. I find with a lot of our clients that we work with in the agency, email is massively untapped. It's not something we do. So I'm not saying it's something that we should be doing, and we're not. But email is massively untapped. If you acquire a customer from Google, from Facebook, it costs you lots of money. SEO takes lots of effort, and you need to be doing those things anyway. So you want to get as much revenue as possible from that customer once you've got them in the door. So if you get them in the door and they only buy once, bit of a disaster. If you get them in the door and they don't buy, there is also an opportunity to get them to sign up to email somehow. Shameless plug, check out Seguno. They are one of our sponsors. They're one of our partners. But we also introduce lots of our clients to Seguno because Seguno is fantastic. It's built into Shopify. We also had one of the guys from Built for Shopify itself on the show a few months ago, which was absolutely amazing to talk to somebody from within Shopify. And I didn't put my foot in it once. Classic words of my team. But email tends to be quite untapped. If you look at it this way, imagine if your business was 80% existing customers buying again, and you were just adding a few more in the top of that journey, a few more, almost like that wheel that just keeps going round and round and round. 80% of your customers are keeping that wheel going round, and 20% to new customers. Actually, you can be really aggressive and target just really good VIP customers, which might take you 20 touch points for them to sign up, but you can afford to do that if they're only taking up 20% of your actual turnover. What a lot of brands do, and this tends to be the life cycle of, well, not maybe the life cycle, but certainly the way that a lot of e-commerce brands get going. Google Ads comes along, and although we manage Google Ads and we're very good at it, and we spend millions of pounds and dollars on Google Ads every month at the moment, which is quite exciting. But we spend lots and lots of money, and as great as it is, businesses become 60, then 70, then 80%, then some 90 to 95% reliant on Google advertising. Your credit card gets banned one day, or some issue happens, or Google decides to suspend your account to review something. Turns out you're completely innocent. Your whole business grinds to a halt. So what happens then is people then go, okay, Google's working really, really well for us. What else can we get from Google? SEO, let's go down the SEO route. And that's great. But the point being is, the more that your business starts to grow, the more you want to diversify and have multiple advertising channels. And if you want to diversify and make your business as sustainable as possible, it's probably the wrong word to use, because we often think about planting trees and not using plastic when we talk about sustainability. But if you want to make your business more robust and more resilient financially, actually relying on existing customers is the best way to do it. Say every single marketing channel completely broke, but people could still purchase on the website. Your loyal customers will still just go, do you know what? I love that hoodie. I'm going to go buy another one. And they'll just go straight onto your website and they'll just buy one. And that's what you really, really want from your customers. So building that loyalty is done through email and a number of other channels, but email is incredibly important. So if your email is below probably, I'm going to make some numbers up here and it's going to make some of you go like, oh, we're nailing it, let's do less. And some of you are going to start sweating. But if it's below sort of 20% of turnover, and also the returning customers, if you're paying to bring those back in, it's fine. A lot of brands have to do that. Unfortunately, Google and Meta have a bit of monopoly on it, but you want to know these statistics to set some targets to beat it. I think if you're like 70 to 80% plus reliant on new customers all the time, bit of an issue. And it's one of the things we talk to our clients about a lot is we're doing great and we're growing here, but it's creating a potential future problem. You need that recurring revenue from existing customers. Second statistic then, 26%. This is again from HubSpot. 26% of marketers report email marketing is one of the most effective channels for segmentation and personalization as well, which is no surprise. This puts it in the top 3 of use cases, tying with paid social media. And I don't know what the other one was. Sorry, I haven't actually got it open, but it gives you an idea that actually email should be working as hard as paid social for you, especially, again, that segmentation and personalization. The other thing you can use email for that brands don't use it anywhere near enough for is you can build an audience in email and then you can integrate that audience into Meta, into Google and target those guys. And there'll be like unlimited amount of use cases you guys can test to see which one actually starts to convert the best. Right, let's talk about a few things going on today then. So marketingweek.com have announced that there is a massive, I'm actually going to open this article and read you some of it. Marketingweek.com, we'll put a link to this in the description as well. If we haven't, apologies. You can find it on Google. The title is TikTok deal closed to avoid US ban. Under the new agreement, the US app will be split from the global business with its algorithm to be trained only on US data. This is massive. I've rarely seen tech companies come up against countries like this, but the United States have made it very, very clear that TikTok needs to behave in a certain way for it to be okay in their country, which I find fascinating because it's not normally America. America's normally the home of free trade and like, let's just let everyone live whatever life they decide and want to pursue and live. It tends to be other countries that be a little bit stricter, I would say, with these kind of rules. The last time I saw something like this, and I'll be honest, I keep up a lot with the kind of UK political news, but I don't keep up massively with global stuff. But the last time I saw something like this is when Google basically agreed it was going to turn itself off in China, and it agreed that with the Chinese government. We're just not going to run Google in the whole of China. Things have changed a lot since then. We're going back to probably 2008, 2010, something like that. But I just thought it was absolutely insane. Again, Daisy's pulled this off as one of the biggest stories going around at the moment, but that is huge. So if you are using TikTok in the United States, I highly recommend having a look at what that means for you. It probably doesn't mean anything overnight because it's just the way that the algorithm is being trained is going to be slightly different to US users than the rest of the world. But whenever something like this happens, some brands freak out and all the marketing managers sit in meetings saying like, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. And 3 or 4 years ago, my team and I had a bit of a conversation about this and said, you know what? We're going to say to hell with those conversations. And we're going to go, whatever happens, there's something we can do about it. And so I would look at this as much as possible. If you rely on TikTok a lot, if you advertise on TikTok, if you have a lot of your customers on TikTok, if you use TikTok Shop, I'd be looking at this and saying, what are the opportunities to exploit this as much as possible, as fast as possible? Because every time something negative happens, there'll be some sort of opportunity because it'll be negative for everybody overnight. You find a way to navigate that. So I highly recommend if you're a US brand, keep a very close eye on this and start looking at how else could we use TikTok and what's actually going to change now that the US algorithm is going to be completely separated from the rest of TikTok. We got a few fun announcements for you. Yoast, if you use Yoast, happy days. This first one's for WordPress. We don't have many WordPress listeners, but I thought I'd read it out anyway because it's quite a big thing. SiteKit by Google integration is now available for WordPress. Well excited. It means you can just install loads of the Google things and all the tracking scripts and the pixels and stuff at a click of a button. Fantastic. And do all of that through Yoast, which is really, really cool. The two that we can use on Shopify. Sorry, I had a sudden moment forgetting what my podcast was about. I've only been hosting it 5.5 years. But yeah, there's 2 things you can do now. One is you can track brand visibility using Gemini, which is Google's AI. Gemini with Yoast AI Brand Insights. That is super exciting because, again, let's go back to that marketing manager meeting room. This seems to be on my heart a lot the last sort of 6 months. that marketing manager meeting room, when they're reporting up to the owner or the senior reps or whoever it is, they're reporting back what marketing's up to right now. One thing that they'll say quite a lot is like, Google Ads, ROI's gone up, we're spending more, and SEO's improving loads. What we do, and again, if your brand's over sort of 5 million a year turnover, we're more than happy to look at this for you guys as well. If your brand is going that way, we look at, if your ROI is going up loads on SEO and PPC and revenue's increasing nicely, we look at how much of that is your brand terms, someone looking for your name, and how much of it is not your brand, somebody just looking for the item, like iPad case or like leather iPad case on Google, for example, compared to somebody that types in like, I want to buy, again, we use a big brand, and I want to buy a Super Dry t-shirt. I assume you guys have Super Dry in the US, Japanese brand, massive here in the UK. But this shirt's made by Super Dry. As you probably see down there. You probably can't see. There we go. But this shirt's made by Super Dry. So if I'm searching for a Super Dry check shirt like this one, casual in extra small, slightly bigger than that. If I'm looking for that item, then I would type in Super Dry to find it. So that's a brand search. I've already decided I'm buying it from Super Dry. Whereas if you type in just I'm looking for a check shirt, you haven't decided I'm buying from Super Dry yet. So it's brand versus non-brand. And we find that actually, going back to this, the brand visibility tracker using Google Gemini, I think this is really, really important, because the more your brand grows, the more you want to try and keep some sort of cap on it on Google Ads. We've had brands before say, look, we're doing 12 to 1 ROI and our margins are fantastic. Like, we only need to be at 4 to be profitable, and we're at 12. It's fantastic. $12 for every $1 we spend. And then we look at it and say, the problem is you can't grow that because it's all reliant on your brand name. You're not actually acquiring new customers through this. You're not targeting people that are deciding between you and 10 other brands. That is a growth problem, and you're not going to be able to grow. So I'd highly recommend having a look at that. Some of it's not obvious in Performance Max, and how to do it on SEO as well is a little bit of a black box, but we can provide lots of data on that. So yeah, reach out to us if you want. spec.digital, spec.digital is our website. And the second one, third one, so final point from Yoast, and the second one that's available to everybody is Alex at Yoast, an absolute legend. I mention him almost every week at the moment. He's also done a search engine journal post about Agentic. I call it Agentic. First, someone's like, do you mean Agentic? I'm like, yes, Agentic commerce may be relevant as UCP was launched on Sunday. This is Sunday last week, just gone, because I asked him last week for it, so it's just over a week ago. Again, we will link to that. If you run an e-commerce store, you're on Shopify, it's highly worth having a quick read of that. It's an amazing article. And then we've also got something from TaxCloud. This is what happens when I ask around. What's going on, everybody? Tell us what's happening. TaxCloud, right, super fun, tax. Everybody loves tax. So TaxCloud help you file your returns and pay your tax in all the all the states you need to across the United States. It's US only. But if you didn't know, Chicago's PPLTT tax has increased for SaaS and cloud services in 2026. The reason I'm reading it out word for word as well is tax is not my world. But what I highly recommend, again, I'm just going to open the article. What I highly recommend you do, which you'll be able to see here on the TaxCloud website, sign up to their newsletter. It's called Tax Radar, Sales Tax Radar. As soon as tax rates or anything else change across the US, they will let you know immediately. If you're running a Shopify store and it's doing anything better than it's kind of started and it's kind of about to do something, as soon as you are trading, you're going to have to worry about these things. So if you get the right tech, like TaxCloud in place early on, all of this stuff will be automated for you. The guys at TaxCloud are amazing. And we've got a webinar coming up in the next few weeks as well. I don't think we've announced the date because I've not read it out, but I know Byron and the guys at TaxCloud and TaxCloud and Saguna are working on getting that in the diary at the moment. Amazing. Right, that's the end of the news. And we had a couple of tangents, which was fantastic. We're going to do trivia, or Quivia, as I call it. Question about trivia. So here we go. First one. In the UK, how long does the average child spend on YouTube per day? I assume it's similar in the US. How long? I'm going to sip of water because I've been talking a lot. But how long does the average child in the UK spend on YouTube every day? So if you sell products that are designed for children, or your target audience is children, you could be running a TV program or something like that, 92 minutes a day. I found this quite shocking because we're trying to keep our little baby. She's only 9 months, but we're trying to keep her off screens. As soon as we touch our phones, she's now like, oh, let me have a look. So we're trying to encourage her to enjoy the real world. Or as one of my gamer friends says IRL, I think it is, in real life. Probably a well-known phrase to some of you, and the rest of you are like, no idea. And then last one, what percentage of the world's population use social media? Percentage of the world are on social media. So we spoke about the email one earlier. Email's really, really important if you're doing marketing. Google's obviously important, or I wouldn't be sitting here and running a career for nearly 20 years on Google advertising. But what percentage of the world's population use social media? The answer is 64%. Which, all things considered, I thought was quite interesting because, and again, it's from HubSpot's marketing stats. I thought it was quite interesting because when you think about it, you're like, all right, let's take out the really kind of, the older demographics get, the less they do use social. That is kind of a fact. The younger kids get, the less they're using it. Although, depends if we're including YouTube in that social media, but 64% is huge. Guess what and finally, it's part of the answer on that, but guess, no surprise for this. And guess what the most downloaded social media app was in 2025? We talked about it already. It's TikTok. TikTok was the most downloaded. So if you're a brand that is wanting to grow and also to a younger demographic or to sort of teenagers and people in their 20s, TikTok is absolutely where you need to be at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed listening to today's show. It's been an absolute pleasure reading out some news headlines, sharing some advice on that. We're going to be back hopefully with a guest this week. We haven't recorded one yet, but we will be recording one before Friday. Several people in my inbox I'm waiting to hear back from. So we should have an amazing guest this week. And if you haven't already, go and sign up to our summit. If you are a tool, bit of software, you want to get involved in either the show or the summit we're going to be running in September, please do reach out. We'd love to hear from you. We've got loads of opportunities to get involved in the show at the moment. As much as we've got more sponsors than ever right now, but more opportunities and more content being created. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you can join me again on Friday, and we're back again next Tuesday with Tea Break Talks. Thanks again.